send the live link out while we're waiting.
Just see how my bandwidth is tonight.
It's sounding all right.
I've changed Wi-Fi router to this week because the last one just giving up the ghost, and this one seems really good.
Oh, we got a message from Jason. I'll be a few minutes late, and that was 2 minutes, so that's 10 minutes ago. All right. Well, yeah, you sounded nice and clear.
Yeah, I've got one of those nice Nighthawk routers. Which,
yes, I've got one. I had one of them to review. In fact, I've done it, haven't I? I think.
Yeah. Really impressive.
Mm.
Well, it was basically based on your review. I decided to go for it, but
yeah.
it's I have to say it's remarkably quick.
Right, let's send that link out. Link out, streams on. Let's check it's recording. Nope. Good job I checked.
That's because Skype crashed.
Oh yeah, it was correct. It recorded the part where Skype was on. Right, we should be good to go. Let's see if this is recording. Yes, it's recording.
Hey.
Yes, you're coming through loud and clear. Good evening, Gary.
Good evening. It's good to be back.
Yes, you've had a couple of weeks away.
Yes, inconsiderate relatives having babies. I don't know. Delighted to welcome my great nephew into the world.
that's really good. And we've had quite a lot of things gone on since we last spoke.
Yeah, a few releases here and there.
We've had a few releases. We've had RTMs. We've had changes in the phone division.
That happened since I've been away, hasn't it?
Yeah. So it's been a very busy few days. Now, Jason should be joining us soon. He said he's a couple of minutes late, so I'll listen out for that and add him in.
Oh, that might be.
That could be him now.
Send me a message.
Yes, but as always, this machine never shows me the messages.
I
can hear them.
We can't see them.
Yes. Oh, I can check on my other machine here, can't I?
That's what you get for running Windows 8, you know.
He's put Windows 10. That doesn't work then. Let's see if I can get him on the show. Oh, he's grayed out. It must be because I've invited him already, and maybe that's... Oh, yes. He's already on the call, it says. Okay. Well, let's Skype come through. I can't see him on the call, yeah. I'm not sure how I can add him to the call now because he's already on the call, he says.
You can always drop him off the call and re-add him, I guess.
I could. Let's do that.
Oh, the wonders of Skype.
Yeah. I've only been doing this for 10 years with Skype. Oh, yes, it's not letting me drop him off the call either. The little red button doesn't work. The wonders of Skype. Okay, I'm going to have to drop the whole call completely, I think, now. Right, I'll drop the whole call and call you all back.
Okay, sounds good.
Right. Try again. Hello.
Hello.
I had to quit. I had to end task Skype to get it to drop the call.
Well, we've still not got Jason yet.
No, so we'll have to carry on. I can't. Messages are coming through, but I can't see it on this machine. I don't know what's going on. It won't call Jason, but it wouldn't even drop the call. It wouldn't do anything. I had to end task it to quit Skype. I saw a message come up from him though, which is really weird. He sent me Ninja Cat things. Let's send him a message and then we'll start. We'll just carry on. I can't get. Right. Let me work out the technicals as we're recording. So what we're going to talk about tonight, let's have a look. Let's bring my notes up. Well, like I said before, while you've been away, it's been a busy week. We've got Windows 10 news as we get closer to release. We've got some phone stuff, and we've got all sorts of stuff. Oh, Jason says, "Try." Am I doing the wrong account? Oh, we're trying.
Shall I try adding him?
Oh, I can add him through the chat. Let's try this one. Let's try this one.
Oh, just let me join.
Hey,
Oh, excellent.
Oh.
Welcome.
I'm not even in the group, but it just let me join your call.
I've been I had to end task Skype eventually to get to drop the call.
How bizarre.
It was really confusing.
I'm
Right.
I'm just trying to stop OneDrive syncing my 50 gig of music that I managed to upload somewhere else.
Oh.
It's now trying to sync it down to the PC. I thought I'd only got selected folders on.
You can have a lot of data downloading.
Yes, and all our family videos as well. So I think I've managed to stop it.
Right. Okay. Well, we better dive in because as we spend some time trying to sort technicalities out. So I say, good evening, Jason and Gary.
Good evening again.
Again. Yeah.
Yes, good evening to you.
Yeah. And,
As I said earlier, it's good to be back.
yes, and it's good that Skype. I had to actually enter Skype to get it to drop the call, which was interesting. Right. So what we're going to talk about today? Well, there's plenty of stuff. We've got final version of Windows 10. We think
We have. Well, not the final. Don't call it the final.
we'll talk about that. Windows RT update. What we're going to get for that,
Yeah,
maybe.
hey, yes, I'm sure you know. Well, we'll talk about it. Okay.
And yes, wait, hold you.
Wait, hold that thought there.
Okay, and we've got other stuff. We've got some app news as well, and what else? We've got all sorts of stuff. So anyway, let's get started with the Windows 10 stuff. So when we recorded last week, which I think my predictions were spot on, obviously as normal, as they've been all the way through, really.
Yes, of course.
And I just got a Windows 10 thing come through on my message from you on Skype on my own band.
Yeah, I think I was sending messages to your messenger account.
Which is it's all one of the same. And I just seen them coming up now.
Yeah, that was the one that told me it was your birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Yes, and like Gary said, dedication means that we're doing this show. We show anyway.
Yes, absolutely. You're a hardened Windows podcaster.
Yes,
I actually thought it was Ian's birthday treat to speak to us too.
well, obviously it is, isn't it? Yes,
So I've come back specially.
yes, you have. Right. So what else have we got? Yes, Windows 10 builds and all that kind of. So let's start with Windows 10. So last week on the show we were sort of speculating when we would see the next build of Windows 10 and would it be the RTM build. So we got a new build of Windows 10, but Microsoft haven't called this RTM, have they?
And they won't do either.
No, they've been they've very much avoided using that phrase, but I think, at least my view is, from a traditional standpoint, it is the version that would have been released to OEM manufacturers. So I think while the whole tradition of Windows development might have changed, I think there still must be a version that they give to the manufacturers. I mean, you wouldn't want somebody getting new hardware on the 29th of July and then having to install a brand new build which completely replaces the operating system.
But then again, they did that with the Xbox One.
Yeah, although I get, but that was more of a kind of incremental update, wasn't it, as opposed to.
Well, it's quite a large incremental
Yeah.
update. You
Yeah, it was,
use
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Let's build.
Well, if I were to make compared to nearly 4 gigabytes, I suppose it's a bit different. But I mean, it'll be interesting. It will be interesting when the actual devices are, unwrapped on July 29th, which I believe they are going to be delivered, at least if not there the day after, what the actual build number is. But I suspect it will be 101240.
Yeah, it's a nice number.
Yes, absolutely. Not 10789 as I suggested, though. Boo hoo.
Yeah,
There's plenty of rules that prevented that, which I can't quite understand. But I like 1040. It's got a lot of maths behind it.
Yes.
So that was released last week. I think it was Thursday, wasn't it? That came out. But they've changed some stuff around, so that it's only available through Windows Update, isn't it? Even though it's on the fast and slow ring.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No ISOs, but I think you have to be in the Insiders program already. Although I think there's probably a way you could have got maybe a previous build, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, well, some people were installing previous ISOs and then getting on to
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
But they definitely wanted you to do it through that program. It was good to go through the full update, the proper update program, including the out of box experience. First time I've really seen that.
It's funny because I was contemplating actually reverting back to Windows 8.1 to get a clean upgrade, and then of course the build got released, so I kind of scrapped those plans very quickly.
No, I liked it. I mean, one thing I did notice on the out of the box experience is it still said music rather than
Yeah, so I noticed that, yeah.
which is interesting.
Yeah. So they released this to the fast and slow ring, and like you said, it was to test the upgrade process. And you get the new out of box experience, which I thought was, which is quite good. So, what's your thoughts on this build?
I've been really, really impressed. I mean, going back to when we were talking in kind of what was it, April, May time, when the July 29th date was started to be put around, and I think I said at the time that I really didn't think they were going to be ready unless the quality of the builds improved rapidly, and I think that proved to be true over June and kind of early July. But certainly this build for me has been the most stable. I ended up having to delete my profile only because I'd got these double app tiles in the all apps view, which I think was just left over from upgrading through build to build. So I actually deleted my profile and recreated it. But the only niggle I had was Wi-Fi and networking issues, which Gabe All admitted on Twitter was a known issue. And I think since the last cumulative update last night, it's been absolutely rock solid.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's amazing how much it's changed in the time I've been off the program in just those 2 weeks.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
That week I was struggling, and the Skype was crashing every time I moved the screen. Every sort of modern app was crashing on me. Doesn't do it anymore. It is really solid now, and definitely releasable. I mean, there's still some niggles and things I'd like to see changed over time, but the fact is we can see them changed over time. It's software as a service, Windows as a service, however you want to say it. We're going to see updates all the time, and not just fixes and security patches, but we will see feature changes as well. I hope they don't go this habit of taking things away, which seems to be a bit of a pain at the moment. We won't mention apps disappearing.
my biggest gripe, like I said, I had to delete my profile and recreate it. And while I understand why they've done away with the start menu layout sync between devices, it would still be nice to have a way to restore, like you do on Windows Phone, to be able to restore that device's start menu layout, because it took me ages to get things back the way I wanted.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things that we said about Windows 8. Yeah, one of the things we said about Windows 8, wasn't it, how quickly you could set up a new PC by choosing a previous device and choosing that as your base point. And like I say, I can understand with different size devices they don't want to sync the start menu layout because you would want it different, but I would like it backed up.
Yes, it'd be nice to have a backup on that. I guess that'll come in time as well. I mean, there's a few. I think they've done as good a job as they possibly could in the time available. That means there are a few features which haven't made the cut, and a few things which we will see. But I can't say, I wouldn't think it'd be very long before we start seeing some of those features.
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see how long they wait when it in terms of the first kind of insider preview build or update. You know, after the July 29th date.
Yeah, I still want to know what our surprise is
Today.
Yeah, there was a surprise today.
Yeah, it's the Skype emoticon. That's what I was trying to get working, but it doesn't work.
No, it worked. It worked.
Did it?
Yeah, on a Windows 8 machine, it worked.
I've got you. Because I maybe
Doesn't
I've
work
still
on
got an out of date. Yeah, maybe I've got maybe I've got an out of date version of Skype, or
you better explain it because it's what it should look like for any listeners.
Yeah. So Gable released a blog post today, kind of thanking insiders for all their hard work and saying 8 days away from launch, and it's such a massive milestone.
Show the picture on the camera.
Yeah, and he said build 10.24.240 was the strongest build to date based on all the feedback. And so this kind of Ninja Cat that's been doing the rounds over the last few months, which I think if you've missed it, you must be living under a rock, because it kind of went quite viral. But yeah, they've released some lock screen and desktop images of the Ninja Cat on different animals, like a T-Rex and a dolphin, I think it is, with bacon, or is it a swordfish with bacon?
Yeah.
And then he mentioned it. Yeah, and then he mentioned a surprise, and very quickly people discovered that if you typed an emoticon, open bracket, Windows 10, close bracket into Skype, that you get the Windows Ninja Cat riding the T-Rex. But I can't see it. All I just see is bracket Windows 10 bracket.
Yes, and I'll show it on the camera in case anyone's watching on the YouTube video. See the little dinosaur there. Yeah, and that's on that's on Windows 10, but I saw it on 8.1 as well. So it's got it's animated as well.
Yeah, I'm guessing, like I say, I think my version of Skype might be slightly out of date, but I'm not going to check for updates while we're recording.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Yeah. So they released the backdrops and things like that, and there's images for the band and for a phone and desktop and whatever, all different sizes of that. I did notice all the blog posts were out as well. I thought, no, I'm not going to bother blogging that one. I don't mind talking about new features in the Edge browser or Groove Music, but Cats on. Ninja Cats is not something I would normally cover. But it's nice to see them having a bit of fun. I mean, it's certainly something we've talked about before, but it's certainly a very different regime there than at the Sinofsky era.
Yes, yeah, definitely, very much so.
You would not have seen that. You would just got a 10,000 word blog post.
Yes, announcing RTM and how RTM wasn't RTM, and
yeah,
or wasn't the final stepping stone along a very long road. Which I mean that's been true of every version of Windows since Windows Update came along, isn't it? Really?
Yep, absolutely. I've noticed as well that all the apps, they seem to be getting the apps ready as well, don't they? All the live tiles seem to be working now. I noticed the Mail app now has live tile, which I'm sure that wasn't there before. I couldn't swear.
It was there, but it wasn't really working.
Yeah. I've got a strange sync issue actually with the Mail client. My Outlook.com email address, when it syncs, it comes up with an error referring to WindowsPhone.com. And that started appearing just the other day. But yeah, I mean, the apps have been rapidly updated over the last week or so. Today, when I went into the App Store and did check for updates, and there wasn't any updates.
Yeah. I've got the problem with it on the phone, though. I can't have my Microsoft account. I think we talked about that last week, but I still can't get that working. But I've got, the basic, all the apps looking good. The store got quite a few updates, isn't it? With in fact, there was a store update today, I noticed. Although I can't see.
Oh, there's another one, was there?
Yeah, now you can do redeem a code, and I think there's a payment options button. I think that was the last couple of builds, but I don't know what's new today. But it's looking better. And I put this on Twitter. Battery life on this Encore 8 now, it's currently 87% with 7 hours 6 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I've noticed that battery life seems to have gone rocketing high on the Windows 10 on.
I'd say it's about 2 or 3 hours more than it was on the earlier builds. Now, it could be that the estimations have been tweaked, so it's not necessarily a better battery life. But I think actually, from experience, I think it is better battery life.
The volume is so loud in my headphones, you can probably hear it on the microphone.
Yes, I think we heard that then. Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
and I think the whole thing, that action centre's smooth now, and everything just seems to be nice and smooth now.
I tell you, the biggest change for this build is I've always used to run full screen on my well, obviously Windows 8 it was full screen, but on the plasma, and I really never felt like doing that with Windows 10 up until this build.
Mm.
And I don't know if you noticed it, but if you adjust the DPI, you get more tiles on the thing. God, it's loud that big, isn't it? And so you get more tiles, or you can actually, and it actually looks a lot better, look closer to Windows 8. Still not quite there, but don't get quite such wide margins as I was getting before. And that seems a lot better. And I sort of run it at 100% and at 50%. I quite like 50%, but it's a bit big on that other things. So I've gone back to 100%, and that seems to work really well. And I'm just, I like the full screen experience on there. I still find that the annoying having the all apps button and the start menu button, which is not really useful for anything. But
the start menu button is very useful on the Link 7. Hasn't got the start button at the bottom.
Oh, I don't disagree. The start menu is very useful for getting into the start menu from an app. What I think is it's slightly redundant with the back button being there now. When you're actually on the start screen, I still think the start button on the start screen should bring up the all apps.
Oh, I see what you mean, and that's funny because I noticed my son. He picked up my tablet today, and he's great. He said, "What does that button do?" He was on the Windows key, and he expected it to do something because it was on the home screen anyway. The start screen anyway. So like you said, you could just have it so it showed all tiles there.
I think you could do away with the hamburger menu potentially. You just have that do whatever the hamburger menu does.
Yeah.
It just seems I mean, I know it's got the old Windows 8.1 thing of flipping between the last screen you're on and the current screen, and you can do it with one click. But you've also got the back button which does that as well. So and the back button goes through all the things you've been working on. So I don't know. It just seems there's too many buttons on that side of the screen, but at the moment, but it is a lot better than it was 6 or 7 builds ago.
Yeah. The only weird anomaly I've got is, and I think this is just going to carry over now, but like on the desktop PC, which has still got my old profile and has been updated through various builds, I've still got the 4 kind of medium tiles per group, which it kind of looks a bit strange because you can't, if you try and to kind of stick to the 3 medium tiles across, you end up with this massive gap between each column.
Yeah.
It looks kind of quite odd, but I think Gabe said that's been carried over from previous builds, but it seems a shame they can't kind of undo that.
I guess you said you recreated your profile on that, didn't sort it out.
That was on my Surface Pro 3. This is on our desktop, which doesn't really get a lot of use these days. So I've kind of been using it as my test bed, checking to see if builds were ready or not.
Because I noticed it's very different when you have it on on my login I've had all the way through, and I created a new login for Windows 10, and the look is completely different on the new login. So obviously that is being carried forward. So I think that's one of those things where a clean build will actually help.
Yes, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I might well look at deleting the profile on here as well and just recreating it. But so this PC gets such little use, it's not really worth the effort.
Yeah, and that's the thing I noticed as well with the upgrades on the last few builds. You haven't really had to roll back, and I've done it a few times on this Encore and the Lynx. Just rolled it back to 8.1, put the latest build on. I haven't really felt the need to do that. This Encore has been working well, apart from that Wi-Fi issue we talked about earlier, which now I think has been resolved.
Yeah, I mean, I was having all sorts of issues, particularly coming out of deep sleep, but also I
have that problem every morning.
yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah,
but yeah, also trying to switch off airplane mode. I found that the network adapters, or particularly the wireless adapter, wasn't really coming back to life, and you kind of dig down into the adapters and you see that it was disabled, but it wouldn't allow you to re-enable it. So I'd almost got to the point where I every time I woke the Surface Pro 3 up, I'd just reboot it, which is kind of a bit tedious because all the stuff you got running kind of disappears. And when you just want to do something quickly on it, was quite painful. But Gabe did tweet a fix. You could run something in a command admin prompt to temporarily fix it. But as I said, I didn't bother with that because I got into the habit of restarting. But I believe it hasn't actually been said in public. But for me, the patch that was released kind of yesterday seems to have resolved that.
Yeah. Well,
and if not, I'm sure that patch is coming. Yeah, I mean, if not, they'll clearly understand the problem. So I'm sure even if it hasn't been released, that patch will be out before the 29th of July.
Yeah, and I found my machine, the automatic update process worked well. And my machine at the office, so that I could control the updates, I put it onto the slow ring, but obviously that got the build, and it just did it overnight. So I think it was Thursday, wasn't it? It was released, and when I came in on Friday, it was already on the new build, ready to go. And then that patch was already automatically installed, I think, on Monday morning. So the update process seems to be working well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be pretty seamless. To say, I wish there was some history in the app store so you could see when.
Yes, that really does bug me.
Yeah, but is that the same with Windows 10 Mobile though? Is there no update history either? Yeah, no. So hopefully that's something that will come back. Perhaps I certainly hope so, because for people like us, we kind of want to know, and I can certainly understand that normal people just want to use it with the most up-to-date app and aren't really bothered. But people are used to having an update history with iOS and Android, at least notifications of which individual apps were updated.
Yeah, I mean, the way that it works on Android, if you've got it set for automatic updates, is if you go into the store, you'll see updating or pending updates if you haven't got automatic updates on, but you also see recently updated. It's nice and simple. It works on iOS like that. You can have a look at the release notes. I didn't notice the Groove Music team are putting their release notes in the app. They have done for quite a few recent builds. So that's okay, but I don't see that many developers doing that.
Yeah, it's a good idea. That.
Yeah.
I like this. Yeah, I've got an update to the Windows Store which won't install.
Yeah, that's
always one of those things, isn't it? It has to update itself, which means it can't be running. So
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it crashes itself. Yeah.
I think one thing I have managed to do, which I know you two have been playing around with a while, but I have managed to get my music onto OneDrive, and so impressed with the way that works. Someone using it for the first time, I've deleted all my old matched music, so it's now kind of clean. From music from the actual Xbox store, the Groove Music store, it's kind of now gone from the past, and now just my own music, but. Initially, I'd kept the OneDrive music folder synced from the PC that uploaded it all. But I see that what you can do I tried taking the OneDrive music folder out of the library, and then you still see the music with the little streaming icon. And if you download it, it downloads a local cached copy into your normal kind of music profile folder. So I'm not necessarily ready yet, but I could certainly see that you could actually untick syncing of that folder in OneDrive and then just download the particular albums that you want. So I've been really impressed with how seamless that works.
Yeah, and it works just as well on the phone as well.
Yeah. The only thing I'm not quite sure of, because I haven't purchased many music albums through Xbox Music as it was, but I did buy a few just to try things out, and it downloads those musics into a purchased music folder. But obviously then I also back them up to my own music library, so I've kind of got those tracks twice. And while Groove Music is clever enough to only show it once, do I necessarily need to keep that purchased music folder?
Well, there is a option, I think, in the latest build now you can tick to, it will remove, if you've got a OneDrive version, it'll remove the purchased version from your collection.
Right, I got you. So maybe just because I've got them downloaded from previous, that they're still sitting on my drive. So yeah, that'd be interesting. The one gripe I've got, and this is with Xbox Music and now carried over to Groove Music, is just there is no view that says these are the albums you've purchased. There's no way to get to that information. And I've got a compilation album that I know I purchased, and I've mentioned this before, but it shows as buying in the store, but I can see it in my purchase history when I go through my billing history, but it's not I'm browsing purchased, like you browse purchased apps in the store. You can't browse purchased music, and it's the one thing that would always put me off buying music through that service.
Yeah,
You know, even Amazon has a purchase music view. You know, it just seems a big oversight.
yeah. I'm not quite can't think where that is. I think it does kind of put them together. I think there is a view of your collection. I think can you not in the app filter the. I don't. Maybe you're right.
No, there's no filter for purchase. And like I say,
it's only available offline, online, and
Offline. That's right. Yeah, it does clump them together. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I've got an album that, like I say, shows the buy button, even though I know I purchased the album. And to be fair, it has downloaded into my purchase music. But as if I was a normal consumer, that just wouldn't build trust in the service for me at all.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a thing that they could fix fairly easily as well, just by adding the view at the ticking. Because when you go in the albums view, you've got available offline streaming on this device on OneDrive, so you could just have it purchased.
Yeah, it just seems a massive omission. But yes, that's my biggest gripe. If only I used some MVPs that were writing a book.
Yeah, don't ask Gary about it. He's blind from seeing my work.
Yeah, actually, you know, we had the old TDL room.
Yeah,
I got a load of emails with calendar appointments this week.
Oh yeah, from the book.
Yeah.
There you go. So you know what's going on.
But,
yeah,
room.
So I've started writing a chapter.
That'd be great help.
I didn't want to miss a deadline. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. The rooms are going away though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Calendar stuff.
So.
Yeah, shared calendar. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The music app works well on the iPad as well. I've been playing around with that quite a bit, and I like it. I think it's working well.
Yes. Yeah, because the iPad.
I'm going to say the Surface is pretty good at the moment. I do take Jason's point about not knowing what you purchased, but with a subscription, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
No, the radio are really than they used to as well.
If you go in the store, there's a My Library view. I'm just having a trouble connecting it, but I think in there you can see your media that you purchased.
That's the way you do it.
Yes, there it is. Oh, it says open the music app.
Yes, yeah.
Which then just takes you back to the music app, and you still don't know.
Yeah.
Very good. So there you go. You thought you could, but you can't.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's the case. Otherwise, that would be another chapter 2 amendment.
You're not changing chapter 1 again.
Yes.
Overall, I do really like the app. I really like the interface. I really like the way it works. The one issue I've hit is on my kids' huddles, which they've got like a child profile. Xbox Music doesn't support. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's still Xbox Music on Android. Yeah. It's when you try and run it says, sorry, this does not support child profiles.
Oh, it's a shame, because that would be quite good for that, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be great. I could just stick what music they like on their OneDrive, and they wouldn't have to listen to Pink Floyd.
Oh, well, that you've got to make them listen to Pink Floyd. Surely it's the other way around. If you're not doing your job as a parent, if you're not
failing.
I'm trying to think what else has changed. Really, it's just a question of the L apps are just getting updated. I think the Xbox app's the latest one that's got the circle for the for when it's representing a person. So that's all the way through Windows now, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, pretty much.
The
how much is for that matter? They've
Go ahead.
I was going to say change the name badges to have round circles on for the people's book photos.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they have, haven't they? Yeah, yeah, they've gone round circle crazy. One thing I did want to sort of bring up is interesting. I've seen lots of discussion around is the automatic updates. And I don't know why this has suddenly become an issue again, because we've had this conversation 6 months ago, maybe more. But there's some. I saw someone post this on Facebook, someone who should probably know better, that I thought really that saying, oh, you don't want to get Windows 10 because it forces updates on you.
It's I mean, this is Windows 10 Home, isn't it? And I know, you know, as I'm sure you all do, when you work in IT, you know, you become the family and friends tech support. And for me, just having it always up to date and not having to go back and you know, you go on a friend's PC, and they might be quite good at running a Windows update because it's just scheduled and it just installs them. But you can guarantee there's like a load of recommended updates that haven't been installed. And I just think it makes perfect sense this day and age. You can't have an unpatched PC on the internet. And if Windows Professional, the people that really care, like us, that want a little bit of control, Windows 10 Professional has the delay. Is it called delay updates? I think it is. I mean, it says not recommended, but you can delay feature updates. You can't delay, I think, critical updates and whatnot. But I just, like I say, I really don't get why it's a
I think there's been a bit of misinformation on this, and people have got the wrong end of the stick, because certainly a couple of people I spoke to today, they thought it was going to meant it would reboot their machine right in the middle of when they were doing work, because they couldn't stop it. Which is not the case at all.
Yeah.
You've still got the ability to control when it restarts.
Yes.
So I think I think there's a bit of misinformation, because obviously that was a big problem in the early days of XPs when it had the automated updates, when they didn't have that ability to. It was just reboot. You might be editing a Word document, you might be editing a book, and suddenly it's gone.
Yeah.
It's been rebooted because it's updating.
But Windows 7 does that anyway, doesn't it? I've seen my wife's Windows 7 machine. She's working away, and she's clicked postpone button as many times as I think is physically possible, and then eventually it says, "Well, tough, this is coming."
Yeah.
I mean, they did a ton of work, didn't they, in Windows 8? Because, I mean, previously I always set my Windows machines to download updates, but let me choose when to install them. But Windows 8 handled it so well that it was the first version of Windows for me where I had it just left on automatic, and it would, you get the message on the lock screen saying your PC will automatically restart in 3, then 2, then 1 day. And I really can't see why Windows 10 won't be, a very similar experience.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are coming from Windows 7, and that's one of the things that was a bête noire for some people.
Yes, yeah.
So I think that's partly the reason. I think so. I think we've got to educate people on that. That's not the case. Certainly, people I've been speaking to and I've explained that to said, "Oh, that's not so bad then." I don't think it's the actual getting the updates automatically. It's the fact that that reboot, but.
The only thing is, Microsoft have got to ensure that when the updates do come out, you don't get sort of a blue screen, a circle of reboots, or some kind of update that causes the machine just to be beyond fixing of a basic user, because that is then it becomes an issue then.
Yeah, and it'll become a major issue then as well. So I think they've got to be careful. I wonder if in reality they'll be able to throw a bit more resources at testing these updates going forward anyway, because obviously at the moment they're all locked into Windows 10. Most of the resources are on that, so you could see that would be draining resources on testing the updates, and we've certainly seen it in the last few months. The updates haven't been as good as quality as they had been prior to that, so hopefully that will change again.
And there are 5 million insiders willing to test those updates. So, I think Windows it's got a lot more robust. You've got the PC refresh, the PC reset. You've got the restore points. So there's various options of getting back. To it. And even we've seen that with Windows 10. Every time a new build installs, that you've got the option to roll back to the previous build. So hopefully it should. Actually, one discussion I had on Twitter today, and I can't remember where I read this, was that if you did a PC refresh or a PC reset, that the way that the Windows 10 will service the recovery files, that it wouldn't have to re-download all updates. Is that something I just made up in my head, or?
Yeah, because that's one of the things that you do a reset of Windows 8.1 or whatever, and you've got 2 or 3 gigs worth of updates.
Because I'm sure I read that Windows 10 was doing away with the specific recovery partition, because I think we talked about it, didn't we? Saying it's a bit dangerous if it's relying on its own internal system files for a restore, if those get corrupted. And that's what made me think that it would also be servicing the recovery partition, or kind of partition in quotes.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything recent on that, but the PC, I'm trying to think when I've done a refresh. When I've done a refresh on some of the builds, then apart from when I got the refresh back to 1.8.1 somehow. Well, I know how, but I didn't mean initially to do it that way. It just does the refresh, and it was on the same build number. So, but then of course it would be. So yeah, it's whether if I did a PC refresh now, whether the security update from yesterday would need re-downloading. That's what you mean, isn't it?
Yeah, perhaps you should test that, Ian.
Let's test it now. Although
Oh dear.
yeah, I've got my Encore 8 working very nicely now, actually. So I'm not going to mess with that.
Yeah, I can't wait for the first. Well, I guess we'll have to wait till at least September, October time. But I can't wait for the first Windows 10 mobile mini tablet.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
we'll have to see what Panos is going to build for us then.
Yes, yeah, he's got a new role, well, an expanded role, hasn't he?
Yeah, so just Panos Panay is been the head of Surface for a while now and done a really good job of recovering from the debacle at the start of thing to producing a pretty good brand is now in charge of all high-end devices for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Engineering of, so that's Windows phones as well. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, the number of people that have walked past my desk and asked, "Oh, is that a Surface? Is that a Surface device? And what do you think of it?" And someone today mentioned, that they'd bought a Surface 3 for themselves. So yeah, I think the brand is definitely becoming more and more recognisable and growing in strength, as I say, since those early missteps. But I think any time you develop a product in secret, there's always that that missed opportunity to get the consumer side of things.
Yeah.
And as I said before, my mum loves her Surface too. She wouldn't change it for anything. So,
And she'll get an update for her Surface 2 in September.
she will. Nice segue in.
What will the update be?
Yes, who knows? I'm sorry, excuse me.
Now,
I'm sure they said this was coming on July 29th previously.
They have mentioned a couple of times in the past that it would be on RTM, that the Surface will get an update of undisclosed features on RTM.
So Windows 10 hasn't RTM'd, has it? That's their excuse.
Yeah. So, and for anybody that doesn't know, we've been waiting for this information for ages, and trying to, and there's been a lot of speculation. What will the Windows 8.1 RT devices, including the Surface 2 and the Lumia 2520, as you pointed out,
Yeah.
what updates will they get and when will they get it? But we've heard nothing. And then just Gable just replied to somebody who asked him, which I suppose is a good idea. Really, perhaps we should have asked him, and asked, when will it be? The update, when will the Windows RT update be available? And his reply was Windows 8.1 RT update 3 will be released in September. No feature information, but interestingly, well, we know it's now called Windows 8.1 RT update 3. So update 2 was the last update, wasn't it? Which it had a code name, didn't it? Yeah, well, it was the one that they weren't calling update. It was the one after update 1, wasn't it? They weren't calling update 1.
They didn't want to call update. Yeah, they said we're not going to call
release or something.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it was one of those. And so the Surface 2 and probably the original, the original Surface and the 2520 and the Lenovo. I can't remember the model now. Didn't Lenovo have a Surface, a Windows RT tablet?
I don't know if they did. Samsung definitely did.
Yeah,
because they were selling them off cheap at John Lewis over the last couple of weeks.
But anyway, so they'll get an update. No details on what the features are. I have seen on Twitter a few people sort of saying that it's likely to be a change to the start menu. We'll get some sort of new, but not the one that is in Windows 10.
Yeah, the one in Windows 10 has been rewritten in XAML, hasn't it?
Yeah, so it'll be an earlier build of it, which was the one. I think it's going to be the one that was in the first or second preview that we got. Which it does seem a bit strange to get that as well, but I suppose it's better than nothing. But really, to be usable, I mean, you don't really need to necessarily change the start menu. It would just be better to be able to support universal app platform, so you get the Groove Music app and the Outlook mail client, and it's that really makes a difference, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's the thing that I would have liked to have seen. I guess that's too much of a change to the operating system, and they're prepared to invest. I mean, bear in mind, all of these devices are now end of life, aren't they? They're not manufactured anymore, so they could have quite easily just brushed them under the carpet and forgotten about them. And I don't think there would have been a massive group to complain about that. But yeah, I think because I know on the RT device, I always found the start menu to be, quite usable and quite functional. So I'm not quite sure, given that 99% of your usage of it is through modern apps anyway, is the start menu such a big deal?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're going to use it full screen on a. I suppose you're not going to get Continuum. I think that seems to be the case. So
I wonder if it would include Office 2016 RT. Again, I don't suppose they'd invest the engineering time into doing that, but
I doubt it.
I wonder if Office 2016 exists for ARM. I bet it doesn't.
yeah, I suspect it doesn't.
Yeah.
Always put the Android version on there.
Well, there's the store. That's what I mean by the modern apps. You know, there's the modern versions, aren't there? That you could have them on it, or the Android version on it. Yeah, but okay. Well, so we'll have to just wait till September to find out.
Yeah, I think anything would be mad speculation at the moment.
Yeah, there's not going to be a huge rush of people desperate clamoring for the update, though, is there? I suppose anybody that's still got one is resigned to the fact that that's what it is. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. So, and a couple of other things you talked about in the last week on Windows 10. So they've announced they've started their marketing, haven't they, this week?
Mm.
So we've had one or two videos from Microsoft.
Yes, yeah, we've had the first advert, which looks very cute, has lots of babies. I think it'll be interesting because they've had so many missteps, haven't they, with advertising campaigns in the past. But this one looks quite interesting because it doesn't necessarily directly talk about or try and demonstrate any Windows features. It's quite subtle in the way it mentions about not remembering passwords and that not touching a device just isn't what kids expect.
Yeah, it's kind of setting Windows up for. I guess the way the marketing is setting Windows up for the next generation of computing.
Yeah.
Welcome to the next generation.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's got some cute babies in it and things like that. So I don't know whether that's the marketing campaign that will get. I don't know. They'll get TV ads in the UK. I guess we will because Microsoft have done quite a bit of TV marketing.
Yeah, I think they're starting July 29th, aren't they?
So, yeah, we'll see those, and maybe we'll get some of the marketing activities like the Gadget Show that they skipped on this year, didn't they? But in the previous years, they've been quite heavily involved in that. Maybe we'll start to see some of the marketing money going that way. And
of course they've got a big presence at IFA this year as well in Berlin in September. They're actually doing a keynote this year, so that's going to be. I think it's the first Microsoft keynote I've seen for a trade show for some time.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some new Windows 10 phones.
Yeah, maybe Panos will do the keynote. That'd be exciting.
Yes.
Yes, but didn't they say they wouldn't be showing phones there? And the person doing the keynote isn't from the phone division. It was PCs. They were likely to show partner PCs.
Oh, they spoke about new equipment, so yeah, they did say it was unlikely they would show phones there, which makes sense because IFA is not normally where they launch phones. But then again, last year they did. So having said they wouldn't, so I think it's always possible.
Yeah, but what we don't want is another 435, 535, or anything like that.
I mean, obviously, with that news which happened while I was off, that's unlikely to happen now, is it? We've got 6 devices.
Yes,
it's the rumor, isn't it? And I wonder if 2 of those will be Surface devices.
A Surface phone with Continuum, Windows Hello. Yeah, I put me down for one.
Yes, yeah, no, I'll be up for that.
Yeah. And I did actually test that. If you have a look on our show notes, there's I did do a review of the Lumia 535. This is the slots between the 435, the really cheap one, and the 635 older one, which was really the cheap one, and the 640, which is not quite so really cheap one, but is actually quite a good one. And it's not as good as the 730, which isn't a cheap one; it's a mid-range one. So I think, we've discussed this plenty of times, haven't we? It's I think really it makes sense now. The 640 is such a nice model with such good features, and if I think maybe they need to have a lower price one. I think is it 160 quid without a contract? Maybe there should be one below that. I don't know, but I think the 640 is a very nice base model, and I think the 435 at 69 quid is maybe enough. You don't need a 99 quid one as well, like this 535. But if that's your budget, that's your budget. And this phone is not a bad little phone, and it'll run Windows 10 Mobile very nicely if you do need a test phone.
I have to say,
Yeah.
so a couple of people in the family have got 535s, and they've been really impressed with them until the 640 came along.
Yeah, the 640 is a big leap, actually.
Yeah, it's 640 is a great phone.
Yeah, I do like that, and I think the 730 is a good phone as well.
But
So,
735 is my
yeah, that one.
one of choice now, and I chose that over the 640 for a couple of reasons. NFC being one of them.
But the rumor is that there's a 9. They're going to skip the 940 and go with the 950.
Would make sense.
Yeah. But we'll wait and see on that.
Yeah. It does seem that from reading on Twitter that the latest Windows 10 mobile build is actually almost the daily driver. I don't know how you've been using it, Ian.
Yes, it's actually very good. Apart from having problems with my Microsoft account email, it's been very good. I've got it here, and it's running fast. I don't think I've seen it reboot at all. It's nice and smooth. It unlocks quickly. Switching from app to app's very, very good. Don't seem to be many crashes on there. So I think this is definitely a nice build. This one.
You can convince your son to try it again.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
I think it'll be all right now, to be honest.
Yeah. I think the main thing that puts me off is it still seems a bit hit and miss in terms of updating from build to build. I think that's the main thing that's putting me off. But I'm getting to that point where I was starting to find it hard to resist.
Yeah, I think this one. When I rolled it back to 8.1 and then put this build on it went fine.
Yeah, especially now we're facing a Windows 10 desktop build drought, and I need my build fix.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so, so get on that. I think this current build is pretty good. I mean, it's the same build number as the. Hang on, let me think now. Is it the same build number as the PC? I think it is, isn't it now? I think they're locked together now, aren't they? Or they were last time we talked. Whether this is one behind now, is it?
I think it might be one behind. Was it 10.162 the last? I'm trying to remember now. I'm just quickly flicking back through your. Yeah, 10.166.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we didn't get the new one. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting actually to see what happens because will the build number increment beyond what is the base operating system? I'd imagine it probably will. But I thought it would be interesting to see if Windows 10 Mobile tries to stick with the 10 240 build number of the main desktop build.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if that happens. Actually, we'll get and then when we'll start to see those builds on the Insiders. How long will it be before we get a new build for Windows Insiders after RTM and we start to get to see some new things? We're going to run out of time, but that was the rumor, isn't it? That September time, Threshold 2.
Yes, we've had TH1.
Yeah,
which is how the build came down. I think it'd be interesting to see what comes next. One of the features they've delayed, isn't it? It's putting apps on micro SD cards, but it'll be interesting to see what comes with Threshold. And of course, the other thing they've announced is that we haven't talked about is Cortana being expanded to more countries, which kind of makes sense. I mean, it would just be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Windows 10, one of the big features is Cortana. If that wasn't available in your country, I think it'd be a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah. And I think that the biggest thing that's coming later for you, if you're a Skype user, is the separate Skype apps, the modern version, because it's really driving me mad going back to the old Skype on the desktop, on the tablet. It doesn't work well, as we've talked about previously. I bet we're to wrap a couple of things. Next Wednesday is the Windows launch, and they're not doing a big launch. They're doing central launch. They're doing launch parties in each country, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be down at the London one next week.
I'll be there too.
Yes. So I'm going to go. So I should be down for that one. So we'll probably record on Tuesday. Probably, I say. Maybe we'll grab some bits from on Wednesday as well. But so I'm not quite sure our schedule will be next week. But we'll definitely have something around the Windows 10 launch. Maybe we should have a launch show, but I'm not sure when I'll get to edit it because I'll be down there. I'll have a think about that one.
Yes. We need to get Obi-Wan Ed on.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Right, what other links do I want to mention? Just not in the links, but just as we've been working on this entertainment book for on Windows 10, I've just been spending a lot of time with Emby, and I've got to say that's if you want to use DLNA in your home, Emby is a really good solution. It works a lot better than some of the built-in Windows apps, and in some cases the apps don't have any DLNA in them anymore. And if you want to send content to your Xbox One and things like that, works very well. So that's if you're thinking of a home solution, or I've been looking at Plex and I've been looking at Emby. Emby is very good on the DLNA stuff. It's a very powerful system. So more on that when we finish editing the book. We get it out there.
Which is not many weeks away.
Yes. That's it. Right, so I think that's all the time we've got for. We've delayed a little bit by our friend Skype, but I'll include for anything else that I think we should talk about. I'll include a link for that in the show notes. There was an update to the Emby app actually last week as well for Windows Phone. It's quite a big change actually, lots of changes to our friend Scott Lovegrove and his new version of that. So have a look at that. And like I said, if you're interested in DLNA at all, then Emby is well worth looking at. So best thing to do to find out about next week's show is you can follow me at ISDixon on Twitter. Jason, where can we follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Database Jace.
And Gary, where do we follow you?
I'm at Gary WMA on Twitter.
Yeah. So we should have something, either a show before or around the Windows launch time show next week. And keep an eye on our Twitter for all the details on that. So we'll see you next week.
Yep. Cheerio. Bye-bye.